All right, so today we're taking a look at my 2013 Kimco Agility. Last year, this thing had a 50 millimeter big bore kit on it with a 20 millimeter carburetor, and due to some stupidity on my part, some errors were made, and I killed the crank. So right before winter, I rebuilt the motor, put a new crank in, and installed the SA88 52 millimeter big bore kit. Like I say, it was right before winter, riding season was over. I needed to get it to my storage unit, and so did absolutely no tuning. Threw a stock 18, I think 18.5 millimeter is what they are, carb on there. Was barely getting it to run, but ran good enough to get it to my storage unit. So now that it's warming up a little bit, we're coming back to this thing. It's a great bike, but it needs little love. No idea what's in the CVT, etc., etc. It needs front brakes redone. As you can see, we've got a hole. The glass has rotted out. Obviously that battery is too big. It needs turn signals. It just needs some general love. What I've done is I threw a 24 millimeter carb on there with zero tuning and a pod filter. The pod filter is going to go, but I just threw it on there, and she runs. She needs tuning. CVT definitely needs some tuning. I'm going to be looking at that today. Right now, as it stands, just throwing that carb on there, I'm hitting speeds of about 43 at 7,000 RPMs. I want to get those RPMs up a little bit, get that speed up a little bit. All sorts of things going on with this. It's got a 729 belt, which I believe to be incorrect. I believe that this one needs a 738 to maximize the CVT's potential. I threw random variator and clutch in there just to get it from my house down to the storage unit. So we're going to be looking at that. And yeah, so let's get this baby up into the mid 50s and clean her up and get her going. I'll be back with some variator parts, and we'll see what we can do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this CVT cover off and get that variator off and get the weights weighed. I'm going to be switching to an NCY Variator, so I'm going to go ahead and weigh the variator and measure it and stuff like that. We'll do a little bit of science on this and see what we get. Stick around. I'll be right back after I get this apart, and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, so we got the variator out. Here we have the variator that I had in there. This is an NCY Variator. First things first, let's see what we got for weights. Like I told you, I just threw something in. That's a mixed bag. But let's throw all 6 of those on there and see what it weighs. Alright, so with 6 of them on there, we're at 45.74. Let's go ahead and write that down. So, 45.74 divided by 6 gives us a total of 7.623 repeating. I know that my RPMs are not high enough, so I'm going to end up going down on that. But before I do that, I want to see what difference it makes with the NCY Variator. So we've got those weighed. We know that more than likely we're going to go lower, but we're going to try the NCY Variator first before we actually lower them. Now let's see what the weight difference is between this Variator and the NCY. So my current one is, if you can see that, 171.28. And the NCY, which is bigger, weighs considerably less. If you can see that, at 149.3. So let's write that down. Find if I write things down, it's easier for me to go back and see what I've done. What did we say? 149.3. That's a considerable difference. That's what, 22 grams? Give or take a little bit. Let's see what this weighs now. We'll do it without these on there because those are going to be the same anyhow. Tear this out. So the one that was currently in there is going to be 77.74. And the one on the NCY, let's get these off there. 72.57. So not a lot, but that's another 5 grams. So we've shaved what, 27 grams total off. We're at a negative of 27 grams. Give me a moment and we're going to measure these. Well, unfortunately, my caliper batteries died, and I'm not coming up with a really great way to measure these and hold the camera, etc., etc. So let's just suffice it to say that the NCY is bigger. The face is also at a different angle. I don't know if you can see this well or not, but the NCY is clearly larger. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on. I'm going to put those same weights back in and see what difference it makes. Remember, before we were at approximately 7K, getting approximately 43 miles an hour. So without doing any change to the weight, just changing the variator, let's see if that makes any difference. Okay, NCY Variator in. Let's see if we can make this look a little better. NCY Variator in. She's warmed up. Remember, I'm running on the 24mm carb with basically zero tuning. I just dropped her in, but she seems to be idling pretty decently for not doing any tuning. So I'm going to take her for a rip, and we're going to see what the RPMs look like with that NCY Variator and what kind of speeds we're getting now. Stay tuned. Well, bad news, guys, and I'll tell you and show you exactly how it happened. Jacob gave me this Variator, a nice NCY Variator. I've been wanting to try one for a while, and I went ahead and pulled the dumbass and broke it. Tore up the Variator, tore up the weights, and these are just crappy old weights anyway, but I'm really disappointed about the Variator. I'm going to step back outside and I'm going to show you exactly what I did. All right, guys, so when I put this back together, I had the Variator on there. I put the face on. I was ready to put the cover on, and I realized that, now where did we go? Oh, I realized that I had not put the Bendix back in. So what I did was I loosened the nut. I didn't take it all the way off, and I pulled that out far enough so that I could get my Bendix in. I put the Bendix in, and I did not tighten that nut back down. Well, I don't care about it, but I put the Bendix back in and just didn't tighten it, and I made it. Oh, down the street. I don't know if you can tell, but I made it down the street to like just over that hill over there, and zzz, clink, 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 and I turned it off real quick, walked it home, and yeah, that Variator's toast. So, hey, you know, I like to share my successes, and sometimes we have to admit when we fail. That one hits pretty hard. I was pretty happy. I feel stupid. That's all I can say.